Hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 of lesson 9, using images. We left off on bubble 7. We just finished uploading our picture into Code Studio, and now we're going to go ahead and continue. So you should have your picture uploaded into Code Studio by now. If you don't, go back to watch the end, and you don't know how to do it, go back and watch the end of the part 1 video, and then come back to part 2. So in part 2, here we have our image. Now notice that the file name is a little long and complicated, has a lot of numbers and symbols. Well, we can change that. We can rename it. So one way to do it is just to click on it one time, give it a second, click on it again, and then you're able to rename the file name. All right. You can also right click, control or command click, rename, and then you'll be able to rename it. So I'm just going to rename this cake. Makes it a lot easier to refer to. Now I can go back into my index file and add the code to add the image. I'm going to do this after the recipe. All right, at the end of the recipe, line 16, click enter. I'm going to click enter again just to have some extra space. And this is where I'm going to add my image code. All right, so lesson symbol, img, space, src source equals, and it shows up so I can just click on it. Or again, you can type up, but make sure you have quotation marks. And it matches exactly the file name, cake.jpg, or whatever your file name is. If your file name does not say cake.jpg, don't type cake.jpg, otherwise it's not going to work. So whatever your file name is, make sure you type it exactly, or just click on the file name and it'll do it for you. Hit enter. I'm going to give it an alternate caption. And this one I'm just going to label it chocolate cake, all right? I think it's a slice of chocolate cake. Yeah. Slice of chocolate cake, quotation marks. And before you close the image tag, I'm actually going to introduce one more property for pictures, which has to do with size. All right, sometimes your pictures are too big or too small. Let me show you. So if I close this, here's my picture. My picture is a little bit too big, so I need to change the size to make it a bit smaller. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and delete that greater than sign. I'm going to click enter. And now I'm going to deal with height to change the size. Height equals quotation marks. And I'm going to start with 200 quotation marks. And don't forget to close your image tag with a greater than sign. And that changes the size of my picture, as you can see. If I want it to be bigger, I would use a bigger number. Oops, that's too big. 300, right? That's too big. I think I like 200. If you want it to be smaller, use a smaller number. You can use a different attribute. Instead of height, you can also use width. That's another attribute. It'll change the size for you. 400, 300, right? Whatever you want, width or height. However, I don't recommend using both at the same time. And I'm going to show you why. Height. If I use 300 and 300, it can distort the picture. If you don't know how to proportion it correctly, and find the correct width and height for your image, it can distort it. Some of you might be able to play around with the numbers and kind of estimate what the height should be. But I just recommend using width or using height. All right, one or the other. I'm going to go ahead and delete the width line, and I'm just going to use height. All right, so we have source, our file name, our description of our picture, and sizing, height. Height should also have quotation marks. All right. And again, once you're done with your image, don't forget to put the greater than sign. All right. Before we continue and before I forget, there's one more thing we need to do. Does anybody remember? Do you remember what we need to do? Anytime we use an image, what do we need to do? It's easy to forget. We need to give credit. All right. We need to give credit. So I'm going to go ahead and click enter. I'm going to add a paragraph where I give credit. So I need to go back to my website and I need to look for the author, and that's Pexels from Pixabay. So Pexels and then Pixabay. And don't forget to close your paragraph size tag. And that's going to show up underneath the picture. All right. So anybody looking at this website knows where we got the picture from. All right. And that's all you need to do for bubble 7. But this is exactly where you're going to have to follow these instructions for bubble 7, or where you're going to have to follow to do bubble 8. All right. So This exact same code structure you're going to need to use to do bubble 8, which is what I'm going to be grading, right? So inserting your image and giving credit to the creator. Go ahead and click finish. And we're going to continue on to bubble 8. All about you. You can use images to make a web page more personal. Add an image to the page. Make sure to follow the rules about copyright, naming, and using good coding styles. So here, this is the bubble that I'm grading. I'm going to be going through and checking. All you need to do is add a picture underneath cool picture. It doesn't have to be a picture of you. You can look up a picture, a cool picture that you like, TV show, anything related to you that you think is cool, or just a random cool picture that you like, and insert that. All right, so go ahead and find a cool picture. I'm again using Pixabay just because it's easier for me to do that. I'm going to find a cool picture and I'm going to use, I don't know, anything that stands out, something that stands out to me. I think this picture earlier stood out to me. Where is it? Where'd it go? I forgot what it was, but it stood out to me. I think it was this. Anywho, I'm going to use this cool picture. All right, so go ahead and download it. Download. All right, downloaded it. Go back to Code Studio. We're going to go ahead and add it as an image. Add image. Upload file. Look for that file. I believe it's this one for me. Here it is. Go ahead and click the purple X. And here is my picture. I'm going to go ahead and rename it and just call it Azalea. I don't know how to pronounce it. There it is. And now it's going to be up to you. I'm not going to go through this because I've already gone through this in Bubble 7. Now this is where you're going to insert your cool picture underneath H3. So right here, right, is where you're going to type your code, your image tag, IMG, right? And insert whatever needs to go in there. I'm not showing you. And then don't forget your paragraph tag, give credit, right? Here you should have the author followed by the website, right? Don't forget to close your paragraph tag here. But this is essentially what you're adding. You're adding your image tag and you're adding a paragraph with the author and website. This is not complete, right? My picture isn't showing up. I'm missing the actual properties and code lines that will insert my picture. But I already reviewed that for Bubble 7. So if you don't know how to do it, go back and review Bubble 7 and use those same steps to complete Bubble 8, right? I want to see that you understand how to do this and can insert your own picture without having to follow my instructions, right? So go ahead and complete Bubble 8. Once you do that, you're pretty much done. If you want to change the size or adjust the size for your image on this page, that's good. All I'm looking for is that you are able to insert a picture into the HTML document, right? I did say in your notebook that you had to do Bubble 9, but Bubble 9, Activity A, talks about sizing, and I've already talked about that, so you can go ahead and skip Bubble 9. Just finish Bubble 8. Once you're done with Bubble 8, please message me so that I can go back and check Bubble 8, all right? Thank you for watching. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, like always, message me on Schoology or ask me in class, and I will help you out. All right, goodbye, everybody.